We'd like to welcome a very special guest to the Mavpuckcast. Junior forward Jacob Slipec is joining us. Jacob, you are the first UNO hockey player to appear on the Mavpuckcast. Jason and I started this podcast September of 2018, so it is an honor to have you here. Your junior campaign, kind of the meat of the season right now, the final stretch. You're getting ready to go up to North Dakota for your final regular season series of the season. Jacob, we're recording this on Tuesday. We're about to have a blizzard. When are you guys leaving to head up to Grand Forks?
Yeah, well, first off, thank you for having me on. It's an honor. I love what you guys do, and I'm really excited to be here. And I like to say pressure isn't real, but I'm feeling a little bit of pressure being the first ever player on. So I'm going to try and do my best here with that first question. Yeah, our plan is to leave Thursday afternoon. We're very fortunate. We get to charter a flight there, which is nice. So that means we get to practice at Baxter and stuff and leave at a decent time in the afternoon and not have to wake up super early.
Or spend hours on a bus trip up there anymore. That's gotta be nice.
Yeah. We get pretty lucky with how we get treated with our travel to make sure we play at our best. So it's good.
I was gonna say, do you fly to most of the road trips? I thought I had heard that a while back.
Yeah, we fly to most of them. We don't always charter. I mean, we chartered to Miami this year just because getting to Oxford is such a pain to get to. But yeah, no, I'm trying to think of when I don't think we've had a bus trip at all this year, unless I'm forgetting one. But yeah, no, we always fly.
Very, very cool. Yeah, Jason was on the flight with you guys out to Las Vegas for the Icebreaker tournament to begin the season. And Bridget and I were on the plane back with you guys. So that was a very, very interesting experience. Jacob, I got to ask you, just starting off here, what was your path to UNO? How did you end up coming to Omaha and becoming a Maverick hockey player?
Yeah, it's actually, I think it's kind of a funny story. So I played with actually Michael Abgral, who recently left last season, for 3 years in juniors. And I'm a little bit older than him. So he committed his first year. And that's when I actually first started hearing about Omaha. And I was like, man, this is sick. Like, I'd love to go to school like that. Like, it seems so awesome, showing me the pictures of his visit and all that. And my head coach at the time, Tyler Kuntz, is really close with Bernie. And he told me, he's like, hey, I'm going to reach out to UNO, to Dave Noah Bernier, and let them know to get after you. And I was like, awesome. Like, sweet. So then a couple months goes by and he asked me, have you heard from them? And I said, no. And then a couple more months went by. He's like, have you heard from them? I'm like, no. And then the season ended and I'm going to my next year juniors. And he goes, have you heard from them? No, not yet. So then he's like, okay, they're going to reach out. They're going to reach out. Like, okay, like I'm waiting. Like, sounds good. And then they reached out to me right in the middle of like the COVID year we had in the BCHL. We played in a 3-team pod. So they reached out to me then, and then came on a visit in August, just before my training camp started up back in juniors, and fell in love instantly right away. And I told that story actually at the Heard At Sports podcast last year, and Gabs was there, and he said it's because I wasn't playing good enough yet is why they took so long to reach out, but they did, and I'm here. So
it sounds like a Gabs thing.
Yeah, so no, it was awesome. It was pretty funny.
On that line, what do you remember the first time you came to Omaha for a visit or for campus? Like, what brought you here, and what stood out to you about the school or the city?
Yeah, I mean, everything. So like I said, I didn't really know much about Omaha as a city at all. I just knew the rink was awesome. That's basically like what I knew, and that my coach at the time spoke very highly of the coaches, and I was just like super excited. It was the first ever visit I went on. And right when I got here, went straight to the rink. Phenomenal. Watched practice. I don't know if you guys know this, but when we're on Holland, we bump music for the first 20, 30 minutes of practice to get us fired up. So I'm seeing this in the stands. I'm like, man, that's so cool. Like, why doesn't our team do this? I actually brought it back to my juniors team, but my coach didn't like it because the one practice we did it, we sucked. And so he said, we're done with this. But to answer your question, what like really drew me here, it was the culture of not just like the players and the coaches, but like all the staff also in general, like meeting Smitty or obviously our EQ staff, and like Josh and Heavy Lou and like all these people who are more behind the scenes, like hearing their passion about Omaha and seeing how like committed they are to success. That was what really like put me over the edge because I love the coaching staff, talking with them for a couple months and then hanging out with the players too. I mean, Nolan Sullivan and Jimmy Glenn, I went to their apartment and hung out with them for a couple hours and I ended up living in that apartment 2 years later with Jimmy. And so it's just it's funny how things kind of came like full circle, and obviously played with Sully for 2 years, who's one of my best buddies still, even though he's not here. And yeah, it was just the culture of Omaha and the love that I felt when I was here from not just people that work directly with UNO, but also people in that community.
Had it always been a goal of yours to play collegiate hockey in the United States?
Yeah, so I'd say that goal started coming around in high school. I'd say probably around like grade 10, because my parents didn't know anything about hockey at all. Like they didn't play hockey growing up. I didn't have any like I'm the oldest of four. So hockey was just something that I tried when I was 3 and I loved it. And I just kind of like stuck with it. And being a Western Canadian kid, it was all about the WHL and I knew nothing about college. And then I was fortunate at the high school program I went to, West Van Academy at the time, now North Shore Academy. We went to tournaments in Detroit and we got to tour Michigan's facility and Michigan State's. And the year after, we got to look at Yale, Quinnipiac, Dartmouth, Harvard, because we were playing all these teams out there. And that's when I was like, I want to play college. Like this is sick. And then the other thing is too, not one WHL team wanted me. So it made my decision easier. But when I was younger though, I'd say when I was about 15, I was set on going to college. And that's when I actually really learned what it was all about and how high of a level it is.
A lot of people talk about how different it is in college hockey versus, the Q or the W up in Canada and that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's not, I don't know that it's always about the talent level that they're talking about. Sometimes I think it's just about the culture and that concept of school rivalries where, we don't like North Dakota. Doesn't matter what sport we're playing, like Omaha and North Dakota just don't like each other.
Yeah, it's just the way it was described to me too. I was fortunate to have coaches who played both. We had one that played in the WHL and we had one that played college at Dartmouth, and just like talking to them back and forth about it. And it was also what was going to be best for like my hockey career. And at 15, I decided that, I want to pursue college, not WHL. And my parents are also like really big on my education and stuff too. So obviously with the rule change now, it doesn't matter for these kids coming up. But for me, like I said, at 15, college was the goal. And as I learned more and more about it, I just kind of fell more in love with it.
Yeah, that's going to be quite the change with major junior players from Canada being able to come and play collegiate hockey. So it'll be interesting to see. How that affects college hockey recruiting over the next few years. Jacob, what are some of your game day superstitions?
Okay, I like to say I'm not superstitious, but I'm a little stitious. It's not really superstition. It's more just like routine to kind of get my body and my mind right. I think honestly, most importantly, with where I'm at now as a player and a person, it's my mind. I'm a very detailed oriented person where I like to stick to my routine. So I mean, Friday at home, obviously when we're away, it's different, but I can take you through like at home, wake up around like 8:30, like to get a good breakfast in, make sure I'm up and moving. I don't like waking up close when I have to go to the rink because then I'm not as hungry for pregame skate or pregame meals, pardon me, after our skate. But yeah, Friday, wake up, eat breakfast, go to the rink. I got the same little routine I do of just taping my stick, doing certain exercises, stretches, skate, same drills, work on the stuff I'm going to be visualizing in like the game. So I'm not going to give away the pre-scout on North Dakota quite yet, but when the time comes we're doing pregame skate, I visualize a lot of what like our game plan is going to be and apply it on the ice. After that, eat, come home, nap, always nap. Um, hour, hour and a half max. Can't go over that. So some days I'll nap for 15 minutes. Other days it'll be the full hour and a half. Always get to the rink at 4 o'clock. So I would normally walk out of my door at 3:55, call my dad. Always got to talk on the phone with my dad as I'm walking to the rink. And then when I get to the rink, phone's put away. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to look at it. I don't want to be anywhere near it. And that's like a new one that for me is like not even being like near my phone just because of these podcasts and articles I've read about the dopamine levels of looking at your phone and touching at your phone and in sports performance. I could go into that for hours, but then yeah, come tape sticks, same thing, team meeting, do my little team warm up, and we got a couple guys who would do like a team prayer exactly at the 60 mark before we go on. And then at the 44-minute mark, I make sure I'm always fully dressed to go out and talk with some of the kids in the tunnel. I'll talk to them for a little bit, say hi. Got to know a lot of them pretty well over the last couple of years. And so I'll hang out with them. And then when there's 2 minutes left before warm-up starts, it's go time. Just put the helmet on, go get warm. And then from there, it's just get into the flow state and just playing the game.
Yeah, it's an interesting point you bring up about avoiding cell phone use. That way you're not distracted by any tweets from Mavpuck.com before the game that might throw you guys off.
I might be checking after the game, make sure I played well. I'm not just imagining it.
That's right. If you do something good, Bridget always mentions you guys. So if you wouldn't, I don't want you to go too far in the weeds. So what's the typical, if there is a typical routine for road games when you're away from Omaha in the confines of Baxter Arena?
Yeah, I mean, my warm-up routine when I get to the rink is always the same. Time's a little more condensed, just because I can't get there 3.5 hours early. Most of the time, if we're at a rink where we can walk to, I can, but most of the time it's like 2.5 hours early. So I kind of speed things up a little bit. But I do all the same things. Same thing with like waking up, breakfast, all that stuff, all the same like mental prep. I'm really big on like visualization and self-talk. So that's why I don't really call them like superstitions, but I mean, I always tie my left skate first.
That's what I'm looking for.
Is that really? Yeah, I always throw on my left shin pad first, like stuff that really doesn't matter. But
oh, it matters.
A lot of it, yeah.
Don't do it once, you'll know it matters.
Yeah, exactly. So I'd say that's the only like really like superstitious thing I do is just like left side always first, and the way I tape my stick and tape my socks and everything else is just routine based on body and mind.
Jon has horror stories about Jason's level of superstition kind of play.
Yeah, he's very superstitious. This hoodie I'm wearing it now, we wore that for like what, 7 games in a row, I think.
9. I think it was 9.
Was it 9? Oh,
I think it was 9.
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was ridiculous, Jacob. So
I know, because Jacob started playing well and the team went on a bender heater there, and we were like, well, it's obviously the hoodies we're wearing, because that makes sense.
Well, it's funny. Like I used to be that way. Like when I was even like a couple of years ago, like, even like my freshman year, I'd have these weird like little things that like happened. Like, oh, I stubbed my toe. Like I gotta stub my toe. Like it was never that never happened, actually, surprisingly. But it was just like little things like that. Where like, oh, I threw my water bottle in the garbage from this distance. I have to do it again. But I've gotten over that part of it for the most part.
That is very healthy, because fans have these weird superstitions. So it's probably a good idea. And speaking of road series, what's your favorite road venue to play in?
In conference, I'd say North Dakota or Western Michigan, just because of the crowds. I like it when the crowd's into it. I'm one of those guys where I feed off the energy of people not saying nice things to me and maybe telling me I'm number one, but in a different way.
What about all time? I mean, even, back to your playing days in Canada and stuff, are there arenas that just stand out to you as just a really nice place to be a part of a game?
Not so much games, more like moments. I think like my freshman year when we beat North Dakota at home in game one, like that was a huge one when we killed a penalty with like 2 minutes left to like win that game. Like that building, like Baxter was electric. Like that's still the loudest I think I've ever heard a building in my life is when we did that. And then I'm very confident it was Jimmy Glenn who scored the empty netter to like put it away against him that game one. So that's a moment that I remember big time. And also just like when we won our playoff series last year in CC, like that was like that, not so much energy in the rink, but the energy in the room with the guys, with Gabs and Bernie and all the coaches. Like that was like just like such a cool moment. And then like more facility wise, I'd say just like playing at the X, same thing last year. Like it wasn't packed by any means, but just the experience of watching games on like TV my whole life and actually like being on it. It's just like such a surreal feeling, especially for like that practice we had on it, kind of just like taking it all in and being able to then when the puck drop, like it's game time. Um, but yeah, those are my favorite like moments in like I'd say arenas besides Baxter, obviously. But all the moments are in Baxter.
I
I was
remember
gonna.
that win up at the X at the first
Hmm.
win up there, and I mean it was John sitting not too far from me. I mean it's so
Hmm.
loud and electric.
Oh yeah.
It was great just to be there, and that's kind of one of the things I think I really appreciate about Jacob and the rest of the team there is your guys' engagement with the fans is top notch, and
Hmm.
you're in the moment, you're down there, you guys are all amped up because you just won a playoff game and stuff, but they're still looking to the stands, finding the fans, and
Hmm.
kind of
Yeah.
celebrating over in that area and stuff, and just as a fan, like I'm sure that the listeners and the viewers on the podcast and stuff will resonate with this, but just how much we appreciate that and enjoy kind of being a very small part of that.
I mean, I wouldn't say you guys are a small part at all. I think you guys are a huge part. I mean, when you were just talking about that, I got chills down my body just thinking about like different moments where like, like you and all our fans like travel so well. And like it's such like a special feeling being in a away barn and having our fans out cheer the home team. Like that stuff's cool. And like I even last year St. Cloud, like I have all these memories like coming to me. The Mad Maniacs bust out to St. Cloud. And then after the game, we sang the fight song with them. Like that's so cool. Like that, they spent their weekend going to St. Cloud to come watch us play and like cheer us on. Like that's unreal. Like yeah, same thing in Vegas when we won the Vegas tournament. Like going over the glass to everyone, like sitting in our section. Like that's just it's one of those things where like I look at Omaha and it's just one of the many things that like I'm so grateful to be a part of.
Yeah,
Did you
absolutely.
expect that? Sorry, John.
No, I was gonna say absolutely. We love watching you
Mhm.
guys. And Jason, go ahead.
I was just curious if one of the questions I had for you was like, what were your expectations coming down Omaha, and like, did they meet him? So is that something that you knew? I say you were getting yourself into kind of thing. Like, did you know how, the culture and that, the fight song in the lobby after home wins and
Mhm.
things like that are pretty unique in college hockey.
Yeah,
Did you have those expectations coming in as that level of engagement with the fans, or was that a bit of a surprise to you?
big surprise.
Yeah.
Like I mean, being a freshman coming in, all like I feel like the only thing on my mind was like, how can I gain the coach's trust and play? Like, how can I help this team win? Like, how can I help this team win and play? Where I wasn't even really thinking about like the outside stuff and from the expectations that the coaches and the guys that I met with set with how we practiced, how we got treated, like all that was surpassed when I got here. I'm like, that is spot on, and like even more so. And then just like the fans was just, I'm just like I was blown away, just completely blown away, and like all the relationships that I've made over the past 2.5, almost 3 years now with you guys and with like other people is crazy. I feel like I know 100, 200 people when we go out after the fight song, and like just all like by name. It's just it's a cool feeling. Like it's just a really cool feeling. Or like being in the crowd, or like being on the ice and seeing someone in the crowd that I know as I'm skating around in warm ups, or like walking into class and one of my buddies like, "Hey, like great game, like you were there." Like wow, like that's pretty cool, man. Like thanks. Like no way. Like yeah, I didn't know what to expect at all. I didn't really have any expectations, and I never would have imagined like the people I've met, connections I've made, friendships and stuff like that to happen. So that's something that's really special to me is the community of Omaha and UNO hockey.
Yeah, that's been a neat thing. The number of Mavericks over the years who've kind of become integrated into the community. A lot of them are still living here in Omaha. They've got families here, which is really very, very cool as a fan and an alum of UNO to see. And you touched on this a little bit, but what do you see as your role on the team? What do you see as your role as a Maverick on this team, and how has that evolved the past 3 seasons?
Yeah, I think the thing with roles too is like you always gotta evolve with the need be. Like obviously we had some injuries and stuff like that. So obviously when there's those roles open, like I try and fill in the best I can. But I know what type of player I am. I'm an energy guy. I'm hard to play against. Penalty kill, which is something that I earned this year. Something that I didn't have the opportunity to play the last 2 years. So very grateful for that. And I'd say like right now with where I'm at is just be like a reliable penalty killer. We're up by a goal, 5-on-6. Like I want to be on the ice. Like I want to kill it off, win us the game. And just like, excuse my language, just a prick to play against, like just having guys hate me. And I'd say that right now is like my biggest role, especially coming into this playoff series here, is just making it hard on guys every night where when they see 13 on the ice, they're like, oh, this guy again. And I like to think I got a little bit of offense too. So when I got the puck on my stick, I want to make a play, but score a goal or set up something. But the basis of my game is all hard work, skill, compete. And I always like to describe it as like a toolbox. So like what's my toolbox? Like, okay, my grit, my compete, my physicality, and like energy. Okay, that's my toolbox. What tools can I then add into that box? Because without the box, it's useless and it's all over the place. Like if I went out there and wanted to be a skill guy like Patrick Kane, like I'm not gonna be effective. This is not my game. Where I look at a guy like in the NHL, like Kiefer Sherwood or like Brandon Hagel, like even if they're not getting points, like what are they doing? And that's how I kind of like see myself, like a Kiefer Sherwood type player. But I'm also not satisfied with what I have now. I always want to earn more, kind of like I did with the penalty kill this year, and then hopefully still going forward, like earn more minutes, 5-on-5, maybe power play and stuff like that, and just become a more complete overall player as time goes on. And I think they've done a great job of developing me in that way so far, and just trying to like earn more. But like I said, for the time being, like coming this playoff push is hard to play against, piss guys off, and put the puck in the net when needed and just be reliable. 200 foot, just be reliable.
Should we maybe some non-hockey questions?
Yeah, I was going to ask you. I was like, obviously, having visited with players before, chatted with them over the years, obviously you're collegiate hockey player, you're busy. There's a lot going on as it regards hockey and school, but outside of hockey, what do you like to do when you have some free time?
It's a tough question. Yeah, I've been trying to find an answer for like my whole life now.
Let's put it this way, Jacob. This is because it's kind of the same question, but we had this activity at work where we did this, where it was if you had 24 hours, just a full day where you could do whatever you wanted to do. Money's not an option, the whole thing, but you only have 24 hours to do it. Like, what do you do?
Oh, I'm going on the ice. I'm making sure goalies on there. I'm making sure goalies on there with me that I can shoot on. But no, a lot of the my off time is, when I'm not doing school or hockey, is I like to watch a lot of hockey. But besides that, non-hockey activities, I like to play guitar, spend time with friends. I'm fortunate. My girlfriend here of 5 years lives in Omaha with me, so spend time with her, walk the dog, just kind of like enjoy the things that hockey has brought me, like enjoying Omaha, and love going out to eat, but college budget, so can't do it too often. But I do love food and summertime golf. Just typical hockey answer, just golf.
Yeah, a lot of hockey players play golf.
Yeah.
Now, Jacob, I was going to ask your brother Graydon is a freshman at Northern Michigan. You two also played together at Surrey in the BCHL. What do you think of that? Is there any sort of rivalry between you guys, both being Division I collegiate hockey players?
No, I wouldn't say rivalry. I think it helps that we're in different conferences. But I talk to him all the time. I mean, trying to get him to come here. We'll see. But
I was just gonna say,
not.
Can we pull him over?
Yeah,
here
can we pull him? I mean, I'm gonna try, obviously, but I know he loves it there as well. I think he feels the same way about Northern Michigan as I do about Omaha. But no rivalry. I mean, in the summers, it gets heated if we're going like one-on-one, like battle drills or stuff like that. But his season just ended and it was really cool. I'm really proud of him and really cool how he did this year. He led his team in points as a freshman. Obviously their team, really struggled having 16 freshmen and so much turnover, but like I talk to him all the time and we're always chatting about stuff like hockey, like how he's doing, how I'm doing, picking each other's brains on stuff. And I mean, hell of a player, hell of a hockey player. And in the summer, it's like we're inseparable because we're both only home for such a short amount of time. It's like if I'm doing something, like he's coming with me. If he's doing something, I'm going with him.
How much time do you spend in Canada during the summer? Since you alluded to that, are you in Omaha quite a bit of the off season? Yeah.
So normally, I'm home for around like a month and a half of the summer because we come back. I think we start camp like July either 3rd or 5th, normally around there. I'm home normally from like May to end of June, mid-May, depending on how like classes go and stuff like that. Some of my teachers will let me leave a little early. Sometimes they don't. So I got to sort that out. But about a month and a half at home in Vancouver.
So I've got to ask you, this is kind of a long-term question here for you, but where do you want to be 5 years from now? Where do you see yourself 5 years from now?
Yeah, I want to be in the NHL. Easy answer. It's a long road. I mean, I know how hard it is, but willing to do the work and willing to do everything I can to get there. And that's been my goal since I was 3 years old. So that's where I want to be. Any team. It's just, just anywhere in the NHL.
Yeah, I think that's the dream is just to keep playing for college hockey players. You hear that a lot. And, a lot of the former Mavs, we see them, trying to make their run and, build their way up through different routes and different programs. And there's a lot of different options for you out there. So I know I'm confident we will see you, get there because I think you got what it needs. So
thank you. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
You mentioned the guitar, which was something I didn't know about you, that you were kind of into that. Yeah. So what's your music genre of choice?
Always country on the guitar. Always. Always country. It's actually, you know what? I'll tell a funny story. I'm not going to say their names because I don't know if they'd want me to. But I had two of the guys hire me to play for them and their girlfriends at the time. Just like they did like a nice like candlelit dinner and stuff, and I was a surprise entertainment. They both broke up. Both of these guys' relationships ended about a month later. So I am now forbidden from doing anything with the guys. So that's long gone. It was fun at the time.
So that's why the career goals of the NHL, right? Like you had to check country music star off the list after that, right?
Yeah. No, they didn't last long, sadly. But it was actually funny. Last year we had about 9 guys on our team who played guitar. So we would get together here at the Broadmoor Apartments, and we just had like a jam session. It was a lot of fun. We have a couple guys this year, but not as many. But yeah, we got some pretty musically talented guys. Like Don Badoli last year was unbelievable on guitar. Ugh. He was awesome.
We had a great conversation with him. That's a very nice lead in for me. But we had a great conversation with him after one of the Heard At things about his playlist and how he kind of like dominated the music choice in the locker room. And so what's on your playlist?
That's false.
Oh, really?
That's false. I wouldn't say he dominated because him and I switched back and forth. So to not give me credit there, Dom, that's kind of, if he's watching this, Dom, that's crazy. That's crazy. Because I do get a lot of songs from him, though. He's got great music taste, but we'd go back and forth in the room.
So what's on the playlist right now then for you, since he's not here to
Yeah.
steal it from you?
Yeah, well, so I did music my freshman year and then last year, and now with my new phone thing, I stopped because I don't want to look, see, touch phone. But I also do it on like practice days. Like today, I was playing like Elton John and
Huh.
some Billy Joel. Yeah, it's just kind of like I don't ever have a playlist. I read the vibes. Like I took a lot of pride in like being the aux guy because I also was aux all through juniors. Like my 4 years of juniors, every team I was on, I was always the aux guy. And it wasn't always like, it's not like, oh no, like I got it. It's just somehow like I morphed into like that role. And so I
Nice.
would never like just set a playlist and be like, okay, what are the vibes in the room today? Energy's a little low. Okay, you know what? Let's ease them into it. Let's start a little slower and then get going. But yeah, I just pick a genre and just stick with it. Yeah, but today was like 80s. It was great.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm down with 80s music. I gotta ask you, you mentioned you played for those two teammates for their romantic dinners. Do you remember what you played at all?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I had a set list. 3 songs. Yeah, 3 songs each. I played Zach Bryan, Burn, Burn, Burn. I played Revival, also by Zach Bryan. And then the last song, I can't remember. I think it was Lady May by Tyler Childers, I think is what it was. But I remember one of the guys, he gave me some of her favorite songs to play as well. And I sang a little bit too, but I am a terrible singer, but I kind of just like mumbled it.
That was really nice of you. This is very,
yeah.
very impressive. I'm I'm impressed by that, and I'm sad that their relationships didn't work out with all of the effort
Yeah.
that was put into that. Um,
Hmm.
Looking at the upcoming series against North Dakota, there's a lot of playoff implications on the line. Jason and I and Bridget and I, we've been crunching all the number scenarios. I'm sure you guys aren't as worried about it as we are, but what are your thoughts going into that series against North Dakota?
Yeah, obviously there's a lot of like unknown with it, right? I mean, correct me if I'm, you guys probably know better than I do, but so correct me if I'm wrong. We can either finish second or fifth, depending on how the weekend goes. So I think we
Yep.
all kind of know, like we win 2 games, we get second. Um, we get swept, we don't get home ice. So obviously you never want to get swept in general anyways, but I mean, the games are the same as the games that we had in October or November. Honestly, like to me, it's just it's a game, you know. Our team's the same. I mean, we've only gotten better. Um, and like I alluded to earlier, saying there was no pressure except for being on this podcast, but I genuinely believe there's no pressure. Um, we're a team that does all the work every day. Like our staff does all the work, cutting video and coaching us. It's just going out and trusting our ability to play. And I think you can see it, you know, throughout the season, the games where we had, you know, everyone on board, trusting their ability to play. And some game for whatever reason we haven't, or we were battling like illness or anything like that. So my mentality is just another game. You know, they're all big games. Um, if yeah, like if we won maybe 2 games more in November, then what are the standings like now, right? So everything happens for a reason. I'm just really confident in this group going in, and North Dakota is a fun place to play. It's fun, it's hostile, and we got a team built to win. And if we stick to our game plan and play the way we need to play, like you saw on Saturday, we're going to win.
Yeah, that caution to the wind attitude, I don't know how much you guys talk about at the beginning of the season where, pundits have you and where the writers place you and preseason rankings and things like
Hmm.
that. But I was thinking back to when John and I did our preseason predictions and stuff. And, a lot of the writers that we were looking at and stuff didn't give Omaha nearly enough credit. And And I think that you guys have really kind of shocked a lot of people because you have been committed to each other and committed to the program, and it's paid dividends on the ice as the season's gone along. And that stretch run that heater was pretty awesome for you guys, and so
Yeah.
commend you for being able to put in the work and see that through, because a lot of teams would have some of the struggles that they had early on, and losses against teams that you knew you probably shouldn't have lost against, and just kind of like, well, maybe not this year kind of thing. And so it's fun to watch.
Yeah, I think what you kind of just alluded to is just the culture here in Omaha that I talked about when I committed here. It's just every day is a chance to get better. Like, it doesn't matter what happened yesterday. You just learn from it and you move on. About, we talk about as a team, like riding like the wavelengths, don't want to get too high, don't want to get too low. It's just, like you win a game, great. You still got to play Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
You can't stay up on that high and like you lose Friday. That sucks, but you can't stay down there because you got a game to win on Saturday.
Right.
And I think just with having how many new guys have we had this year? Like 15, 16 new guys. There's a learning curve. There's a learning curve to that, right? Like so many new faces, with new coaches, and like it's just a whole new team compared to last year. And just everyone, from the staff and the players is doing such a great job of gelling and just learning every day. Because like you said, when we were on that 6-game skid, we could have easily just, like you said, a lot of teams were just packing in and be like, oh, this sucks. But no, like we just trust the process, continue to get better every day, and now we're in a situation where, we can finish second in the conference or at least with home ice, and we're just pumped. I can speak for everyone. We want to be back in Baxter. We got to be back in Baxter.
And we want you to be back in Baxter. So we get to come and watch you guys play here in the friendly confines of our home arena. Jason, do you have any more questions for Jacob?
I don't think so. I think we covered quite a bit and a lot of stuff. So I really appreciate Jacob, like not just being so focused on hockey, but, opening up on some of your personal life and stuff like that. I think the fans will really appreciate getting kind of a glimpse into what life is like and who you are as a person. And, I think further, I know Jon will probably say the same thing, like just for our respect for you and as a player and as a human. And it's been a great few years here, and we're looking forward to some more here and some more winning here, and maybe bring home a national championship this year, right?
The plan. That is the plan. Yeah. Well, thank you guys. And, I've said this before, I love what you guys do. You guys are a part of the reason of what makes Omaha special, like always, hyping us up, even sometimes I think when we don't deserve it. But, you guys are always on our side, and as a team and the culture, you guys are a part of what makes this like place special. So thank you, and thank you for having me on. Honored to be the first player, and maybe we're starting something called Slippy Segments coming up. I don't know, but I'm always happy to come on and chat with you guys. So whenever you guys want, just let me know. I'm always around.
Well, we really appreciate it because it's great to hear from the people who are part of the program in the locker room, skating out there on the ice. It makes a difference to hear your perspective because people listen to Jason and I every week, and certainly we present the fan perspective, but it's nice to get the perspective of somebody who's doing this day in and day out as a hockey player, somebody who's played hockey for essentially their entire life. So So we want to really thank you for being the first Maverick to appear on the Mavpuckcast, hopefully the first of many. It only took us like 6-7 years to get our first Mav on here. So thank you for offering to do that. We really appreciate it. And best wishes this upcoming weekend in North Dakota. We will be here cheering you on, and you guys control your own destiny. So hopefully you can get it done.
Yeah, we'll do. We'll see you guys back at Baxter.
We'll be there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jacob. Yep.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.